So we are live at session 47, I think. Who wants to give a recap?
Well, Lucirosi woke up early to bust some rocks. And
that is not a euphemism. He was actually busting rocks.
Actually punching and headbutting rocks.
Again, not a euphemism.
And then shortly after that, when everybody was awake, these mist demons attacked, nearly killing Lucirosi in the process. And they were very difficult for us to deal with, but eventually we were able to, because we couldn't hit them. We couldn't see them.
No, that was not. They were completely safe and non-dangerous, except for the fact that Lucirosi was punching rocks in the nude, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. So he didn't have any of his armor. He didn't have his weapons.
It's called Manifest Destiny.
Yeah. But, you know, Luciorosi's not a weirdo. He doesn't sleep in his armor.
I attacked T-Hole, and that had nothing to do with the demons.
Oh, yes! Aurelia just fucking thunderbolted T-Hole.
Technically the demon, like, it charmed you to be on to think that I was an enemy.
Well, not just an enemy,
you
but that you
can
fucked
tell
over his
yourself
mom
that.
or something.
You can tell yourself that. Make you feel better.
D-Hole was just worried that his possibly yet unknown estranged daughter thunderbolted him, or thunder waved him.
And then we beat them. I think T-Hole killed one with his silver sword, and then Lucirosi finished the other one off with a holy punch. And then while we're gathering our things, and Lucirosi is putting the tent, his tent out because it is on fire, thanks to Crick, we saw a halfling in the same guard as the guards at the Starlock Prison running. We managed to catch him and bring him over to talk to us. His name was something.
Nimrod,
yes. He claimed he was the halfling that Lucirosi saw in the cell with the Mind Flayer. And he was able to escape through the sewer system. And then he claimed to have previously been a priest of Asheros, and also had been allegedly an accomplice to some kind of art theft.
He alleged that he was not. There were merely allegations against him, but he was not making the case very persuasively.
Yeah. And so he gave us some information about what he knows is going on in Starlock Prison, and his ability to avoid being eaten by the Mind Flayer by constantly covering himself in shit. And he talked about ways that we could potentially get in, basically the back of the prison, if we could get over the wall, and if we could try to find uniforms from the guards, that we would be pretty easy to sneak in. He also told us that there's one period of time where there's only one of the corgis on guard, and we would then trying to figure out whether he was going to stay here while he waited for us, or if he was going to try and make it on his own through the dangerous land to try and get to where he was trying to go. But somehow, or I think it was Aurelia, managed to persuade the shit out of him so that he would come with us. Yeah. And I think against his better judgment, and he's still questioning exactly how we got him to come with us, he agreed. And then as we're approaching the prison, we came across the first guard outpost, and there we saw a whole bunch of freshly dead corpses. Each of them seemed to have had their faces ripped off. And so we noted it, but uncharacteristically did not investigate any of it or try to find tracks or anything. And then we got to the...
You did investigate it enough, or at least Zarius investigated enough to determine that whatever tore their faces off must have had exceptionally long claws on its hand, and its hand was probably humanoid but very large, larger than a normal human hand.
Yeah. So we did get that little bit of information, but we could have probably done a bit better looking around, but we were kind of on a mission to get to the gate, so we did. We convinced them to speak with us. We told them that, you know, there is this monster about, that the guards at the guardhouse are now dead. And then Lucirosi and I think Zarius as well were beginning to heal some of the guards, because Zarius, I think he detected within them some kind of illness. And so as Lucirosi placed his hand upon one of the guards to heal them, there was a sudden lightning strike, which Lucirosi felt that it happened exactly as the magic from Asheros passed through his body into this soldier. So he's confident that there's some kind of link, and that something is not happy, that these guards are being healed. Further helping Lucirosi to know for sure that there's something very evil lurking within Starlock Prison that's not actually a prisoner. And then I think that's where we're picking up from.
Right. So you're there. You're still talking to the decanus of this little group, the leader. He also saw the crack of lightning. He, however, near as you could tell, he was a little startled by it, but he doesn't associate it with the fact that you've cured this man. He just thinks it was lightning.
As that would
Zarius have
happen,
made that connection by chance?
Uh,
I don't know about this perception, I'm not sure.
Yeah, you can make a perception check to see. All of you can make a perception check, except for Lucirosi, who knows.
Ugh.
it's so nice having the second screen.
See, it's funny, it's like my other screen went out. But it's actually not my screen, it's my video card. So like I'm down to one monitor now.
You don't have like another port on the video card?
I got 2 ports, and
Yeah.
the other port is for the monitor that's currently working. So
Yeah.
I gotta buy a new one.
Oh, you got a desktop?
Yeah.
So Aurelia, you would have noted the connection as well.
Hold on, oh shit.
Lucirosi.
Also, just so you're aware, I don't know if you care or not, you still have this goat with you.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
The goat will follow you around essentially until the next morning. But you can also draw 3 animals from the bag at a time. So if you want more animals, you can have them.
Aurelia's like a little Cinderella.
Little Disney princess.
Yeah. A panther Disney princess.
Don't compare me to that bitch.
Lucirosi, noticing the connection immediately, would have turned to the leader. What's his name again?
Posthumus was his name.
Posthumus. And asked, does it lightning often in this storm?
Well, now that you mention it, I don't know that I've seen lightning before now, but
You know, it suddenly occurs to me, I don't think we ever asked about this strange rain Do you know the source of it?
No. Seems like it started while we were still moving through the mountains, but it's here the whole time we've been in control of the prison.
Interesting.
Have you seen the man in charge of the prison?
You mean the prefect? Sure. When we were on our way here, I haven't seen him really since we got here.
You know what? It also occurs to Lucirosi. He's going to use his divine sense to see if any of these people might have any corrupted blood within them.
So you do that. You don't detect any corruption in them.
Okay.
I would give me a perception check. Yeah, you don't really sense anything. I mean, something feels off, but it's that sensation of something being off really started when the lightning struck.
Mm-hmm. Posthumous, I think I feel some kind of unease given the attack that just recently happened on your men at the guard outpost. I think it would be best if we gather all of your men together. There may be some danger in keeping them separate.
I mean, I can muster them all now. A lot of them are sleeping, having gotten off shift relatively recently, but sure, if that's what you want.
Perhaps we just go there.
Yes, I think if we can not disturb those who are sleeping, clearly your men need as much strength as they can given the circumstances. But I think it would be best if we make sure that we are all together in case something does happen.
Well, I mean, we have orders to guard these positions. We need men on the wall to keep a watch.
Yes, but Posthumous, who are you guarding this prison from?
Well, we have no idea if there are renowned monsters wandering through these mountains. So we don't know where they're going to come from. We don't know if the Morses are going to ever march troops up this way.
But clearly, your men have been picked off when they are paired up or however you have been arranging these missions.
Well,
what you're doing is not being successful in warding off whatever it is that you are meant to be warding off. Perhaps it's time to change tactics.
We were assaulted this morning.
Well, there's a lot of rain. I've not really seen that much mist. Occasionally a fog in the morning, but not usually. But yeah, make me a perception or persuasion check rather. I don't know if we can just abandon our post. I know this is a tough assignment. It's almost like we're under siege here, having to hold this position without supplies coming in, even though there's no one at the outside forcing us to remain here. But sure, we can temporarily pull back off the walls. What sort of attack do you think we're expecting?
I don't know. To be honest, I feel something is amiss, and especially after that crack of lightning, something may happen. And I think just given the recent attack upon your men at the outpost, it might be worthwhile to gather our forces so that we can better face whatever it is that may come.
So he begins barking orders, and you see the two men at the front wall begin to climb down. And he leads you past the second wall. Both of the gates go up as you pass through them, but so the gates are closed at least. But he leads you back to the guardhouse and all of his men off the wall back to the guardhouse. It's him and 4 other men at the moment. inside the guardhouse, you see there are 5 others sleeping. Mostly it's like dwarves, halflings, or dwarves, humans, and 1 halfling.
While this is happening, I am going to cast detection from detect evil and good. Just so that I can get a sense of, as the men are coming, to see if there's anything affecting them.
You don't detect anything from these men, although other than the one you healed, they all look to be suffering from the same sort of sickness.
I'll use a couple, my last 2 second level spells, I guess, and heal a couple of them with lesser restoration.
Okay. So those ones, they still look exhausted. They'll need to rest to recover from exhaustion, but at least they don't look like they're ill anymore. The others still look pale and look to be a little bit ill.
Does the guardhouse look like it could be defensible? In a meaningful way?
Probably. It probably depends on what attacks. It's clearly not designed to be defensible. There are windows. They're not large, but they're probably large enough that something could crawl through. The whole structure itself is made of wood. So, would be susceptible to potentially being burned. The roof is slate, so at least, you can't just fire an arrow into the thatch roof to light it on fire. So it'd be difficult to burn, but, any number, against human attackers, at least they would have to come through the doors and the windows. Monsters might be able to break right through a wall, though.
Is it dark? So, I know it's always dark under this cloud. It's kind of like it's nighttime.
Right. It is always dark. Your understanding is that it's probably at this point late in the afternoon.
So when it's dark, I'm just kind of remembering. Is it like nighttime dark or is it pitch?
It's like nighttime dark.
Okay. So I'm going to spend a Kai point, and T-Hole's face begins to kind of shine with a silvery blue light, and he's so he'll have he's putting on his visage of the astral self, so he's got astral sight, so I can see further.
The inside of the barracks at least has torches. There are actually some torches that are undercover in the courtyard between the 2 walls as well, so that the people there, at least the humans and halfling, can see. But you now have dark vision and can see even more easily inside the house.
And I would guess I would be focused on the outside, kind of watching. And from last session, I don't recall. I know we did I rolled natural portents, and I think I got it, but I didn't use it yet.
Right.
How long is that good for?
I
think it's for the entire day.
Yeah, I think it's for the entire day.
Okay.
Additionally, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I said okay.
So one thing Lustrosi would do is he would take a few stones and place them kind of 30 to 40 feet away on different sides and cast light upon them to act as so if anything does start approaching, that maybe we could see it a bit better.
Right. The only way, because the gates are up, nothing probably is going to come through the wall without making a substantial amount of noise. And there are those pits in front of each of the walls that it would have to someone get across first. So it would either have to come essentially down the vertical cliffside from the air or from the direction of the prison itself. But you set up lights outside to give yourself greater visibility.
Yeah, and this way it will counteract the darkness that we had trouble with that last time we fought within the walls. Yeah, because based on my reading of the light spell, I can put it on as many objects as I want.
I thought you can only do one. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
it does. It does.
If you cast it again.
Okay, never mind then. I probably wouldn't do that.
I prepared it. I have it now too, so I can do the second one.
Okay, so we could at least get some additional light there.
Right.
It only lasts for about an hour, but
yeah, your auger's portent lasts until you take a short rest, when you can do it again.
Okay.
Keep the die until you rest in some way, shape, or form.
Okay.
So as we gather the men around, Lucerosi would begin trying to gather some information from them to see if any of them have any bits and pieces that might be usable to kind of put the pieces together as to what we might be facing or what might be leading to this going on.
So in talking to the men, all of them know about people dying in the way you described. None of them, no one has seen this happen. It's always been like bodies have been discovered after the fact with their faces ripped off. They clearly have no idea what's causing it. And the guess is that it's a demon of some sort. Just because they know it's not really, it could be one of the Fae in the Morses, but that's not necessarily something you would expect of them. So the guess is it's some sort of demon or monster. They would also tell you that it's not like it happens every day. It seems to happen in waves where a bunch of bodies will be found at once.
What do they typically do with the bodies?
Typically, they would burn them because it's so hard to bury things up here in these mountains.
Take 10 minutes in the corner to attack or to ritually cast detect.
So yeah, you don't detect, other than your own stuff, you don't detect anything magical in these people.
Okay. I'll peer outside just to be sure.
Yeah, the rain is slightly magical.
Does
And
it give a specific aura?
The school is necromancy.
Sure. Yeah.
The enchantment of evil.
Yeah. I mean, I do a lot of necromancy, so.
Right, maybe it's life-giving rain.
I had a dream the other night. I'm just remembering it. It must have been back when I was emperor. I was sitting on my throne, listening to the Circle of Eight bicker over some useless matter, something about taxes and something I was not too interested in, while Mordenkainen was talking my ear off about something I also wasn't interested in. And I remember there was this woman with the green claw that was unusually large. And it seems to be about the size that Zarius described. I couldn't see her face. She had a mask on that looked like Aurelia.
As Aurelia appears now or before, for change?
Before. She was holding a sickly child. Apparently this was some sort of, I knew what these things were. They were some creation of mine that must have had some part in.
Created these creatures, the ones with the claws.
Perhaps. That memory is not clear to me.
What of this necrotic rain?
Oh, I don't know anything about that.
It is likely a source of sickness amongst these men. And if we are not careful, it may affect us as well.
If it's not already.
I do
Yo,
not.
make-
I have not sensed a sickness in us yet.
What were you saying, Kurt?
I mean, I was just saying T-Hole should make me a charisma check. But yeah, you would also realize that these men have been more or less standing guard out in the rain for months, whereas you've been under the rain for a couple of days. So whatever the rain does, it's not acting super quickly. Like these men don't look like they're about to die. They just all look. It's maybe like vitamin D deficiency.
Kind of like being out to sea a little too long, looking a little green.
Based on T-Hole's description of the creature, would a religion check be appropriate to see if Lucirosi might recall something about his description?
No, it wouldn't really reveal anything about this.
Okay. Well, meanwhile, the men that are ill, can I use my medicine skill to try and do some kind of mundane healing or restoration?
You're probably not going to be able to non-magically cure this disease, not without actually knowing what the cure for it is, and that's hard to do because you couldn't even put a name to the sickness itself.
Right.
So
Okay.
you could definitely do some sort of palliative care that makes them feel better, but it wouldn't actually cure them.
Right. Well, I would do whatever palliative care I can then, at least. I'd like to make them more comfortable and also use that as an opportunity to show that we're friends.
And Nimrod punches T-Hole in the leg playfully and says, "Emperor sitting on your throne. Funny guy."
I backhand him.
He is quite serious.
Yeah, like I straight up pimp slap him for speaking out of line.
So he reels back at that. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Check your pockets. He touched you.
I will check my pockets and say, "One, don't touch me. 2,
Okay, make me an investigation check. As near as you can tell, everything is there.
Is this a moment where T-Hole is pulling Pacific Rim? 1, don't you ever touch me. 2, don't ever touch me.
I actually haven't seen that movie, but yes.
Jesus, you haven't seen it? It's so good. It's my favorite, one of my favorite movies of all time.
2, it's a long history, but it's not something to joke about. And I'm still like feeling my pockets. I said, "All right, Nimrod, what did you take?"
I didn't take anything, you psychopath. And
Nimrod,
at that point, he then, you slapped him back. He melds into the crowd of soldiers as This room can hold all 10, but it's a little tight with the 10 of them, the 6 of you, the goat. So you can't even see him anymore. He is hiding behind them all.
T-Hole, you must control that anger. This is not the time.
Zari's head kind of just cocks a little bit.
I just can't stand the thought of little hands reaching into my pockets.
Right. It had nothing to do with the pride of him questioning your emperor status.
Of course not. Nothing to do with it.
Is that flatulence?
That's irritation.
This is often the source, yes.
T-Hole chuckles.
In character.
He has a point,
So the men go out and fetch wood from a pile that's right outside the door so that they can build a fire. It's going to get colder as the night rolls in. Posthumus also has men stationed at the window so they can at least keep some sort of watch. But he comes over to you and says, so what's the plan here?
We were hoping to get more information from your men to try and put the pieces together, but doesn't seem that there's much information to be had.
The dangers that we've seen here are really relatively mundane things. We've seen giant bears, stone giants. We have seen the occasional demon, but nothing that seems likely to be the culprit for the face ripping, more just the kind that want to murder you as quickly as possible.
Mundane.
Well, mundane for these mountains.
Still, certainly you must have grown concerned much before this based on the body count and the similar way in which they had been killed.
Everybody's concerned about whatever the hell's tearing off faces, but since we don't know what it is and we haven't been able to catch it, most of our fear goes into planning new and better traps that haven't worked yet.
And what of the leadership? What guidance have they provided?
I mean, at my level, none that I know of, but I have no idea what plans they have. Their plans may well be that we stay here and hold this prison, until the last of us is dead, because that's our duty.
Has no one questioned this duty, this arrangement, and the seemingly carelessness that your leaders have thrown you to the wolves?
We were ordered to hold this position, which means it must have some importance, but I'm not really privy to what that might be.
Have you had any deserters?
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, people have gone missing, but we chalk that up to owlbears and, other stragglers. It's possible some of them have deserted, I suppose. The question is, where do you go? We can't climb our way out of these mountains alone. So one deserter wouldn't make it very far unless they tried to defect over towards the Morsis when they could take the roads. But so far, there haven't been that many people who've disappeared outside the walls.
With recalling the faces that have been ripped off, does it seem like something is actually collecting the faces? Have there been any faces left anywhere, or?
We've never found any remains of the faces. They seem to be gone. Like we said, if it's a demon, there may be some reason why it's eating them. We're not really sure how these men died, if it's just having their faces torn off or something else. But maybe it's collecting the faces, I suppose. I don't know what that would be useful for.
Might
So Billy, you
Lucirosi
can
have
assume
ever
those
heard?
faces.
What'd you say, Tony?
Perhaps by something that can assume those faces.
That causes a stir in Lucirosi. And then he asks, then he's wondering, might there be something that he's ever heard of in terms of a particular type of creature or ritual that involves the stealing of faces?
Everybody can give me a history check.
Even if we're not proficient?
If you're not proficient, I would just say disadvantage on the history check.
I don't know nothing.
Yeah, actually, Aurelia, I'm sure you wouldn't know this. You were in the mirror when this thing happened. Although, yeah. So who's proficient in history?
I am.
So just T-Hole then?
Here so.
Okay. T-Hole, you are aware at least of there being stories of some sort of monster that would sneak into children's rooms and steal their faces, more in the nature of like a folk tale that parents tell their kids in the imperial capital, but it's really limited to the imperial capital. And it's pretty old. It's centuries old, this story. And it's mostly used as a, you had better be good or else.
The face ripper will get you.
Right.
The old rip and grip.
So it's basically a boogeyman story. But other than that,
I would share that. I would share that information.
and the story you know is that the boogeyman turns up looking like one of the children's friends and then kills the children and takes their face. So it's a pretty gruesome boogeyman story.
It's like Le Bar Bleu. So I would share. I would share that. That piece of trivia.
You know, but at the same time, you're not aware of anyone of like reports of people losing their faces in general.
I guess
So, go ahead.
I would say T-Hole, like he would walk over. So he would be during while this was happening. He would walk over to the window and just kind of look out and just kind of stare at the darkness and then with his visage and just kind of he would be kind of looking out and just like kind of zoning out and trying to think and like see what connections he could draw with the dream he had, see if he could remember anything more, kind of like gazing into the shadows of the past and seeing if he can like scrounge anything or scry anything out of the darkness.
I would say if you want to spend an inspiration point, then okay, I could give you something. But it would still be a little bit vague.
You know, I'm just gonna try to I'm just gonna be like lost in thought, like in character for a while.
Basically, your mind keeps sort of going back to the imperial capital and to that folktale and to what the origins of that folktale might be. But you're still not coming up with any actual details of that crime being committed or any details of what monster might have an interest in taking faces other than this one folkloric one. And there, the monster is definitely, I mean, if it's a monster at all and not just a story, it's some sort of shape changer because it's able to take the form of children.
Yeah.
But you can definitely be sure that given the way the story is being used, that if it's describing a monster, it's almost certainly not completely accurate.
Is posthumous? Posthumous. Do you have committed to memory all the men who were sent out on the expedition beyond the wall?
I know who they were. Yes, I've known basically to some degree or other all the men who've died in that way. I mean, I would say we've never seen any of them again. So, if whatever it is stealing faces to disguise itself as those men, that's not something that I've heard of.
Valid.
What of survivors?
There's never been any member of the group, anyone who's ever seen the attack. Everyone who seems to have been present is always killed.
Are there any conditions that you've known to bring this about? Any pattern? I know that you said that sometimes months go by between attacks, but surely there's something that you've noticed. Perhaps it's hard to see under the clouds, but the phase of the moon or something.
We've never actually really never seen the moon since we've been here. What the phases of the moons are, I couldn't say. It's not really my area. It's probably, now that there's this attack, it's probably about a month between attacks. The people are always in some way, shape, or form off on their own. No one's ever heard anything from any of them. So even when they're being killed within earshot, they're not letting off screams. We just find the bodies later on, and it's always more than one. It's usually the smallest number we've ever found was 5. I would say it doesn't seem to be going after any of the high-ranking individuals. It's always going after the little guy.
Right, but the high-ranking individuals are those within the prison, are they not?
Right, for the most part. I mean, the low-ranked people are the ones more likely to be sent off from the main group, given the grunt work. So they may be the better targets.
The
low-ranking people are also the ones who got killed by the stone giants when they attacked for the same reason. They were off defending the perimeter.
What of the prisoner who was killed in the same way?
I mean, if people are being killed inside the prison, I'm not aware of that. If they're being killed in this way, people die, obviously, inside the prison.
Yeah, Sarius, remind me, what is it that you speak of?
Is it not the cut purse who spoke
Nimrod's
of it?
accomplice.
So then perhaps whatever this is might be able to come and go within the prison. Startling thought. It might not even move through normal means. It may be able to just appear where it needs to. That would make it very difficult to fight if it could retreat in such a manner as well.
Mostly it is just magic that has that ability.
And
The gate is
Posthumus
being
says,
lowered.
how would something that's inside the prison get to the forward camp without somebody seeing it?
Teleportation. There is a gate being lowered.
And
Examine.
hearing that, Posthumus stops to listen and then runs outside.
Bless you, Godzilla. Luciorosi would follow, because especially if it seemed like he just suddenly like heard something and ran off.
Right. Well, Zarya said that he hears the gate being lowered. And out there
Oh.
you see Nimrod is lowering the gate.
Nimrod, what are you doing?
I'm out of here. You guys are crazy. Face-ripping monsters. Some lunatic who thinks he's the Emperor and thinks he gets to slap me and I don't get to stab him in his sleep.
Turn out your pockets.
Wait, Zarius. Before you even go there, Nimrod, you know that out there it is very dangerous. You are not likely to survive on your own.
I am very small and very good at hiding and very much not accustomed to being slapped by idiots.
We do not need cowards here.
Exactly.
Turn out your pockets. We will be sure you have not pilfered any more of our belongings or these guards.
So he reaches into a pouch at his side. He doesn't really have pockets per se in this armor, and then starts to run.
Do I have...
Fast as his little halfling legs will take him.
When he pulls out the pouch and he drops it, or he just pulled
No,
it
he
out
just
and then ran
he
off?
feigned like he was going to reach in to dump his pouch and then just bolted.
I'm probably gonna...
Are you gonna hold person him?
I don't have it fucking prepared. Annoyingly, I'm considering banishment.
Why
Well,
would you use such a
although-
high-level spell on
Oh,
Nimrod?
fuck. Who fucking... Because if he has any of my shit, I'm gonna be pissed.
Because fuck you, that's why?
hey, if you can do it, I can do it, goddammit.
All right, because Luciorosi does see that it would be safer for him to remain with the group than to run off by himself. I have hold person memorized, so I will use it on him.
What's the range? Because he is 50 feet away. You can still get him.
My save DC is 15.
I don't have his token out.
But only because Luciorosi genuinely believes if he goes out there, he's dead.
He's still running. So at this point, he is booking it faster than a halfling normally would be able to run, almost as if he can bonus action dash and disappears.
There goes our face-ripping monster.
Actually, that's not true. He's running across the courtyard between the walls, so you would still be able to see him in the light of the torches that are still burning there.
So
But
Luciorosi will...
he is making his way to the second gate, which is currently closed.
T-Hole would like saunter up next to Zarius. Like, well, there goes our stuff. Whatever he stole of it. And he's
Still
still
has
like,
to lower that gate. You should be able to catch him.
yeah, he's not worth going out there.
He's not out there yet.
He's not worth getting separated from everybody else, is what I mean to say.
So Posthumus takes off running. You notice that Posthumus is not really as fast as this guy, so it will really come down to how fast can Nimrod lower the gate.
Ashros. Damn it.
However, if they do lower that gate and something comes through while it's lowered, then we're all in trouble.
Well, that may be why Posthumus decided to bother running after him, because he doesn't necessarily care.
So T-Hole's gonna like realize that and then like run after. And like at least try to like stop the gate from being lowered.
Lucirosi will look at Zarius and ask, "Stay with the group in Aurelia. We'll be back." And then he'll run off with T-Hole.
It's going to take him a while to open that gate.
All right.
So yeah, you're able to get there. He unfortunately can't even get the it's essentially a wheel that controls a pulley system, but he can't even get the wheel to begin moving. It's like stuck in place. So he is just yanking on it with all his might. He jumps up and like puts all of his weight on it, and it's just suspended in the air, holding on to the handle.
You
God.
idiot. You're
Yeah.
gonna let whatever's out there come inside here. If you want,
Lucirosi will work to grab him.
That
you
might be
want-
hard. Give me an athletics check to try to grapple him. So as you try to grab him, he like leaps up onto your shoulder and scrambles over your head and down your back and begins running in the opposite direction.
Where's he
Towards
running?
me.
He is actually running, at this point, he's running to the far end of the same wall where he couldn't open the gate.
No, I'm gonna Eldritch blast his ass. I'm tired of this bullshit.
Oh, Aurelia followed now?
yeah.
I think I got the distance.
Yeah, and you hit him. So what's your damage?
Didn't.
You're
It's
10th
just
level, so you do that twice.
Oh yeah, we got 2. Good. How you like them apples?
You hit him twice. So roll 2d10.
Damn.
So you hit him. He's still running, but it does look like that was a pretty solid hit.
Aurelia, don't kill him.
Here, I'll fetch him. So I'm gonna run after him because I got a movement speed of 50, so I should be able to overtake him.
He also is moving 50,
Oh, okay.
but he as you start running after him, he is scrambling up a ladder to the top of the wall.
Would I be able to? Would he be within like how close would I be able to get to him?
He would be basically about halfway up the ladder by the time you reach the ladder.
Well, wait a minute, because Dustin, your movement speed is 50, right?
Yeah.
So you're probably double moving it
You can
during
move
this
and
time.
dash. And
Right.
And
okay.
and you
So-
also have dash of
Step
dash
of
of
the
the
wind.
wind, step of the
right.
wind.
You definitely could step of the wind and overtake him.
So I would do step of the wind
So
to
spend a
overtake
die
him.
point.
Spend a kite point, and then I would hit him with my demon wood staff. Give him a good crack.
Okay, roll to hit.
So
So,
you do more than that. It's a quarter staff.
right, you
You should be
treat
able to do
Oh,
your
he's
monk
using
damage.
it one-handed though.
It's 1d6. I have it as 1d6 bludgeoning on my.
but it is a monk weapon for you.
You
So
know,
you can use your dexterity with it, and
I never adjusted it since I switched characters.
Right.
So there we go.
So whatever your monk damage die is, you can use that.
add your
And
dex.
add
to
your
the
dex,
damage.
Let's
Are you
see.
straight 10-level monk?
I am.
Nice.
So that's +5, and then so +5 on top of that.
Is your damage die a 6?
What do you mean damage die?
Your martial
monk?
arts die.
Yeah, your monks. Yeah.
What's your unarmed strike damage?
D6, I think.
Okay.
No. Oh yeah, it is. Look at that. It's okay.
So,
So that is good then.
okay.
So you catch up to him on the ladder and crack him in the foot.
And I spend a Kai point to make it a stunning strike.
Okay, what save is that?
Constitution save.
So you hit him in the foot,
Fucker.
and he lets out a yelp, but continues. He's continuing to flee as near as you can tell. But you're right next to him and can keep up with him easily enough.
You got 2 attacks too.
You can hit him again.
Yeah, I would just. Yeah, I guess I would just try to crack him again. There we go. Let's see. Can I only do stunning strike once?
You can do as many times as you have Kai points.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it again. See if I can hit him again. All right, stun him again.
This time you stop him.
Meanwhile, what's Posthumous doing at the gate? Was he did he pursue Nimrod when he went in a different direction?
He more or less stopped to check out the mechanism, but no, he didn't pursue him down the other way. Now let me just see. There we go.
Did he mess with the gate?
That's what Posthumous was looking to figure out, but it doesn't appear as though he did any actual damage to it. He was just his weight was unable to turn the mechanism. So I was just checking to see if being stunned means he falls off the ladder, but it apparently does not.
Darn, I was hoping it would.
So he is like smarting from the pain of being whacked in the legs and is gripping onto the ladder, but he's no longer moving.
I'm gonna try to see if I can like grab him and like pull him down, and bring him back to the ground.
Okay. I'll say you can do that. I don't know. I think normally it would still require a grapple check. He fails strength saves and dex saves, but not necessarily checks. But he realizes once he gets to the top of the wall, his best he can do is jump off and hope to survive the fall.
So when I pull him down to the ground, I'm going to check his pockets and to find to see whatever else to see if he pilfered anything.
So he has on him essentially a backpack and that pouch. You do find it's hard to say what he stole. You don't, other than the lump of gold that Crick basically said he could keep. You don't find anything of the parties. You do find a bunch of Imperial soldier gear, but he may have had that already since he stole the armor. And
What about all the gold that Lucerosi gave him?
Well, he still has that as well. That is the pouch that he has at his belt. So it doesn't, you can't necessarily say he stole anything from what you see.
So I throw his backpack back at him. It's like,
as he twitches in like the thin layer of mud.
So if you're stunned, does it like lock up your vocal cords? So can you?
He can speak falteringly, and that's it.
So.
And he could take bonus actions if he really wanted to dash.
I'll say. So Teal will say, It seems you made the right choice and didn't stealing from us. However, your past means we couldn't trust you. Do you really wish to go? Do you really wish to run away into the darkness, into the den where you are unlikely to come out alive?
Fuck you!
So T-Hole's gonna pick him up and like carry him like this and like but forward so his hands like can like stay away, and he's gonna try to bring him up the ladder.
So what's your strength score? I assume you can lift him easily enough.
Strength is my dump stat. It's 11.
That's not so bad. So give me an athletics check.
Actually, no, intelligence is my dump stat. Athletics.
So yeah, that's enough. You're able to get him up to the top.
And I throw him over the wall.
So he goes plummeting down.
It's a 70-foot wall?
There's a pit.
Yeah, there is a pit.
Oh.
So he goes plummeting down and falls into the pit, where, as far as you know, there is probably a halfling zombie.
So it'll be a fair fight.
Well, except he's stunned.
Only for now.
Hey, it's only lasts a minute.
No, it's till the end of your next turn.
True. I mean, but that's like,
You just tossed them down there, so to the end of your turn, done.
yeah. True.
It's fine.
So I'll go back. Yeah, T-Hole will return. And luckily he didn't take anything of ours.
But where is he?
He wanted to go, so I helped him along.
And definitely, Zarius, you can now hear like the moans of a zombie coming from the other side of the gate.
Did you toss him into that pit where there is a undead creature?
I tossed him over the wall.
You did what?
We don't have time to, or the patience really, to deal with fools like that. Especially since he was so eager to leave. I gave him one last opportunity, and he told me to fuck off. So I helped him fulfill his desire to leave.
Did you ever think that maybe if you hadn't slapped him in a moment of pride that he wouldn't have even considered it?
No.
Same old T-hole. And then Lucirosi just walks past you and shoulder checks you.
I definitely dodge it. Or at least attempt to. Given that I have a 20 dexterity.
Careful, you almost tripped.
I just want to see how this plays out. So I want an athletics check from Lucirosi and an acrobatics from Teal.
Oh.
Ah, man. Nice.
You do have an action point.
This is the perfect time to do it.
It's a matter of, it's a principle.
So T-hole is to attempt to dodge, is unable to, and gets knocked back a few feet. But plays it cool.
I walk over to T-hole. Good to see that you're back.
We have more pressing matters than suicide halflings.
Did you get a look at his eyes?
No, I didn't think to check. Is there something I should have checked for?
No, just wondering. He was acting really suspicious.
Well, he didn't steal any of our stuff. All the stuff he had was the stuff he left with, or presumably had already, or the stuff that was given to him.
Meanwhile,
What do you
Lucius
think
is
he
walking
is
back.
suspicious? I mean, he's a suspicious character in general. But what was he doing?
Well, he got a better fate than he deserved.
Was he giving you looks?
No, we were trying to protect him, and he just was very ungrateful.
I agree.
And
You can't-
Posthumus comes up to Lucirosi and says, do we need to chase down the halfling?
No.
All right. He doesn't seem to have done anything to the gate necessarily. I'm not really sure why we chased him.
I was hoping that we could convince him to stay and keep him safe with our numbers, but apparently others who are more selfish in their manners made that decision for him.
He made that decision himself.
Yes, and I'm sure he wasn't at all discouraged by T-Hole's treatment of him.
If all
For a
it,
simple jest, you assaulted him.
if all it takes is one slap to make him turn rogue, then I'm glad we took the slap now instead of later.
T-Hole, of course, you of all people would not value the life of one other than yourself.
Well, not his life anyway. There are lives of many others I would value much higher than someone who is shown to be already an unsavory character of self.
An unsavory character based on whose judgment? Once again, you are making judgments for others' lives with no reason or cause because you assume yourself to be this position of emperor, which you haven't even been for 1,000 years, if it can be believed. And then because somebody chooses to disbelieve the notions of a crazy person, you decide to slap him. Of course, why would he stay with us if such a simple gesture without any ill intent other than the reasonable, sane belief that somebody such as yourself could not possibly be as old as you claim to be, nor have ever been in a position of privilege? Why would he stay? You did not make him feel safe. You did not make him feel welcome in doing so. And once again, it's based on your choice, your decision.
He chose his own fate. I merely helped him to it.
In the
You
future,
disgust me.
T-Hole, don't stoop to their level. If someone insults you, don't strike them.
As if he could help himself. The one who sold somebody else's soul to save his own skin. Wouldn't even put his own life on the line. Or immortal afterlife. Huh.
So, about this prison.
We must focus on what we can right now. But T-Hole, I swear, there is going to come a day of reckoning. And you are going to get everything that you deserve. Whether by Ashros' hand or someone else's.
You'll be back on that throne before no time.
I believe that day will come to all of us.
And I will smile when it comes upon you.
It's not wise to hang on to anger. Let us focus.
Shouldn't we get back into the guardhouse if there's going to be some sort of imminent attack?
Yes, let's not tarry.
Yeah, so Lucirosi would walk back to where all the others are gathered.
How often does this guard switch out?
We're here until we get relieved. Usually we would expected that to maybe come in the next 2 weeks. But there are provisions here that we brought with us enough for us to be here a month if we need to be.
Who are the men loyal to?
What do you mean? Who? To the Emperor?
And this warden of the prison?
Well, he's our commanding officer. We follow his orders. I don't know that anyone can say they know him well enough to like him or dislike him. But the punishment for one man disobeying an order is, of course, potentially decimation of the rest of us.
I suspect this man in charge is either not who he actually says he is, or has ill intent for all involved. It is only a hunch.
Your hunch may be right, Sirius. The prefect, when we saw him, well, we
Didn't
didn't
see.
actually lay eyes upon him. But he's certainly not human if he claimed to be old enough to recognize T-Hole. Which unfortunately leads credence to his claims, but still does not make him worthy of them.
Well, I mean, I've seen the prefect. He looks human enough. I don't know whether or not, looks can be deceiving. There's all kinds of magic in this world. His daughter looked human enough. So, seemed ordinary enough to me.
His daughter came here too.
Yeah.
Have you seen either of them since you got here?
No, they immediately took possession of the central tower.
And Posthumus, unfortunately, we have personal experience with demons that have possessed others in position of privilege. And we've had to execute that demon. It's possible that the same may have come upon the prefect, perhaps even his daughter.
What does his daughter look like?
She's probably 20, 25 years old, human, dark hair, dark eyes, pretty in a sort of striking way. You don't see many women who look like her, let alone she'd make a pretty good soldier if she ever decided to join.
What makes you say that?
Well, it wasn't easy to get here. Nobody, not her, not the prefect, not anybody, got here without exerting themselves quite strenuously to climb over these goddamn mountains. And she kept up with us. She didn't need any extra help.
Are you an artist?
I'm not. Probably, I mean, maybe one of the men has more talent than I do. Why?
I wish to know what this prefect looks like.
And so he asks if anyone is an artist, and one of the younger soldiers says, well, I can draw a bit, sir. I don't know if I would call myself an artist, but I do spend some free time drawing.
an artiste.
Could you render an image of the prefect and perhaps his daughter?
Sure. And he starts looking around. Do any of you have paper?
That's a good question.
That is not something they would have packed.
Check equipment.
I have a bottle of blank ink and a quill, but no paper.
Tear a sheet out of either of the magic books you have.
Take this.
Take this manual that will make you sick. No.
I was hoping Lucia Rossi would try to tear a sheet out of the magic book.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything, unless I had any parchment within the silver scroll tube that I had that I got back in Elkitor.
There may have been spell scrolls in it, but not like blank paper.
Yeah, and I probably gave those scrolls away.
I mean, actually, I would say this. Because you have T-Hole has all of old T-Hole stuff, you would still have T-Hole spellbook,
Yeah.
which is in itself magical, and must have some blank pages in it.
Raise my intelligence by 1. I could become a wizard too.
So yeah, I guess I would reach into my old spell book and be like, I don't remember any of these spells, and I'll rip out a blank page and hand it to him.
What are you trying to do, Zarius?
So he also borrows your ink and quill, since he doesn't have that either. But
I just want to know what this person is supposed to look like.
The person he draws is in the man is in Imperial armor. He looks to be about 45. There's nothing particularly striking about them. Those are black and white images. He looks like he's probably pretty handsome for, a human.
No familiarity with any of us. Showed around.
Everyone can make me an insight check, trained or not.
I'll use an action point just see if I can get higher. All right.
Big money.
I'll send something to T-Hole since he got the highest one.
T-Hole's most likely to recognize the guy. One would think.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you had some kind of spell or something you were going to scry on him or something.
Not yet. I don't have it prepared, and I don't have a thing that I can use to scry with.
Okay.
I don't think. I need a focus point that's worth 1,000 fucking gold, so.
He looks, if you look close enough at his eyes, he looks a little like me. The daughter doesn't, though.
And the daughter, I assume, doesn't look like Aurelia's human form.
Oh no, nothing like Aurelia.
Okay.
Just so I'll ask Posthumous. Did his daughter, per chance, have any sort of claw, or a dagger, or
Gloves?
A claw, no. Well, I mean, we all had gloves. I saw her without her gloves from time to time. She definitely had a dagger, but that's also kind of true of all of us. She had, some weapons on her, nothing extraordinary that I saw. She's a little bit stronger than I might have thought at first. And like I said, I was expecting her coming with us to be a huge mistake and we'd all have to help her, but she was basically as capable as any of us. But even there, I wouldn't say, extraordinarily so.
Interesting. When we met the prefect before, we couldn't see him. He was enshrouded in some sort of shadow. But now that I see his likeness, something does seem familiar to me, though I can't place exactly where I've seen him before.
I don't know anything about him being in shadow either. He seemed pretty normal, a little high class, but that's not so unusual amongst officers. I know that the Coegi Vis, they say, use darkness as a kind of a shield because they could see through it, but he wasn't one of them. I never saw him use any of their abilities.
This is disturbing that he would be exhibiting that he would exhibit behaviors of that nature when you've known him just to be a simple man, or at least appear like one.
I wouldn't even necessarily say simple. He was, when we were coming through the mountains, he was near the front lines for some of the fights that did come up. He was pretty competent warrior. I would say probably better than almost any of the men, maybe better than all of us.
When I say simple, I meant unassuming.
So he fought with you?
From time to time, when it came to it. Sometimes things would descend from the skies, harpies, things like that.
And then he went in the tower when you got here?
Pretty much immediately. Like, that was, whatever we're here to defend, I'm sure it's in that tower.
And now does he come out and visit you?
Haven't seen him since we got here.
How long's that been?
3 or 4 months.
Did you bring any prisoners with you?
Prisoners with us? No, we came here to guard this prison. We didn't bring anyone who, other than the daughter, the prefect, and the soldiers.
The cardinal?
Yeah, he's a member of the Legion.
Did he fight?
No, but that's not, I don't get the sense that that's really his strong suit. He heals people. He, can freeze some enemies in their tracks. I didn't see him do that since I've been here, but we haven't really fought that many men.
So who comes and visits you and the troops? Is it any of them?
The Coegi Vis come in and out of the tower from time to time. The bishop comes in and out of the tower from time to time, but that's pretty much it. We get our orders from the prefect through the Coegi Vis.
And what are your orders usually? Like, just go, and are they usual orders or anything in particular?
It's always the same. It's making sure that we're manning the walls, making sure that nobody's shirking in their duty, applying discipline to those who are. Every day here has basically been pretty much the same, with the occasional interruption from something that's trying to fight us, and then finding bodies with their faces ripped off.
And do you tell them this is what happens, and what do they tell you?
For the most part, they're aware of all the fights because those get loud. They're certainly aware of our finding our comrades dead. They say they're just as mystified as we are. From what you're saying, I have no idea if they are, in fact, as mystified as we are. Maybe they know more, but they're not letting on, not to us.
pretty much every group that you've sent out gets killed, right?
No, I wouldn't say that.
Well,
30 people in 3 or 4 months, but that's 3 contubernia. So it's, like I said, about, at least for the face ripping monster, it's maybe once a month or so, something happens.
Is it around the same time every month?
Yeah, that's possibly true. I mean, it's hard to count days. Most of us have lost track of days and nights here. We get up when we're told to get up and do what we have to do. Try our best to keep a schedule, but it's very hard without the sun to guide our sense of time.
So as I'm talking to him, whatever soldiers are up, I'll be just kind of walking around the room with my goat so they can pet the goat because the goat's nice and calming.
It starts to try and climb on him.
Are you encouraging them to pet the goat, or
Oh,
just
yeah.
walking around? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
If you're encouraging them, then I'm sure you get a crowd of them petting the goat.
Yes, everybody likes to pet the goat.
See what other animals I can make. A bear.
A lion, a giant goat.
Wouldn't you like to address the prefect your concerns? Because it sounds like soldiers just going out there dying and they're just ignoring you.
Well, that is part of our job, is we get killed for the glory of the empire.
That
But
sounds
if
terrible.
I were to go in and express my concerns rather than expressing my concerns to my superiors, that might be grounds for me to be crucified. So I probably wouldn't do that. Although I am concerned that maybe they know more than they're telling us. But like I said, I don't know why we were sent here to hold this prison in the first place.
Well, it's obviously not benefiting you because all you're doing is just dying here.
Nothing about the Imperial Army benefits the Imperial Legions. We're benefiting some greater political alliance with Longspear. That's pretty clear because this is their prison. But what's
Perhaps it
important
is-
enough to hold the place? Who the hell knows?
Perhaps it is time to take these matters directly to the prefect.
Yeah, like I said, the punishment for most serious forms of breaches of discipline is they kill 1/10 of us. I don't know if they would do that given our limited numbers and inability to replenish them, but the punishment could be severe.
You mistake me, Posthumus. I do not mean that you should do so, but rather our group. It seems there is much corruption going on here, and I suspect that it starts with the prefect.
I mean, I guess my question then would be, what if you're wrong? What if the prefect is as clueless as the rest of us and doing his best?
We'll just come back and tell you.
Believe me, Posthumus, I mean no ill will against anybody that does not deserve it. As a paladin of Asheros, I always seek to find the light in everybody and to make it shine as brightly as possible.
Except
Within-
Keyhole.
Within those that have the capacity, and that's when he eyeballs T-Hole. Still, this... I think that for the time being, it would be best for your men to remain together to protect one another from whatever it is that is stalking your men. As I do not believe that this is random. I think that your men are being stalked and hunted. Perhaps this thing will not come for another month, and with the rains, I feel like it would be difficult for us to track. But we can at least attempt to address these matters with the prefect.
Some problem with the goat that Lucerosi has to address.
Stop eating my toga.
So, what do you intend to do then?
Seek answers. And if we find demons needing to be slain or enemies of the people, then we shall face them.
So give me another persuasion check with advantage because Aurelia was helping.
Thank God for advantage.
Well, Lord knows we need the help out here, so good luck to you. I mean, do you need any supplies before you go? I don't know that they're going to just let you in to see the prefect. He doesn't see that many people. I know you spoke to him once already, but I'm sure he wouldn't speak to me if I asked to speak to him.
No. I do not imagine that it will be as easy as just walking in. But something must be done. I don't want to say too much more in front of Posthumous, so I would kind of signal for the others to kind of gather away from earshot from them to begin planning.
Right. I mean, he's got all of his men now inside this guardhouse, so you could go outside.
Yeah.
There is cover underneath the walls, so you could stay outside of the rain.
So if everyone follows Lucirosi out, Lucirosi would say, I think we need to take Nimrod's advice at this point. He might have been better able to advise us directly had he remained around, but still, he said that there is a point when only one of the Coergi are guarding. I think that perhaps...
Before you continue, T-Hole, make me a wisdom save.
Oh boy.
You get a plus. Maybe you get a plus 3 or 4.
Yeah.
I don't know how Lucirosi's feeling right now.
The aura just
it just
like
goes around.
It stops.
It's like with the Family Guy, like Peteropia or Petertopia, where it's his own country in the middle of the U.S.
Yeah.
It's whether or not he considers T-Hole to be an ally, I believe is the...
It's a critical question here.
Friend of me.
I mean, a 4 is not going to make it, or a 7. So even with an additional 3, it's probably not going to cut.
But nothing happens.
So I kind of, as we were going out, because I was going to bring this up earlier, like I would have been watching outside the window still. Did everyone feel like something was off after the lightning went off, or was it just Lucirosi?
It was just Lucirosi and you, but you don't know that necessarily.
Well, I thought it was Aurelia that noticed it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right.
So, but I still
Lucirosi and Aurelia noticed something was off. You did not.
Oh, okay.
I did also ask directly with everybody observing whether lightning had ever struck, and that Lucirosi thought it was a sign of some omen or portent.
Right. So you would have noticed that. Yeah, you've never noticed any other lightning. That was the only stroke of lightning you recall seeing in this storm.
Mm-hmm. All right. So he would have been walking as we were walking out, just kind of checking around for lightning or checking around for clouds or any sign of a natural disturbance.
Right. It's so dark because of the clouds above you, though, that you really can only see to the limit of your dark vision, which is probably about to wear off.
Yeah. Okay.
So while we're outside, Lushrosi would address the group, and he would say, I think that we need to take care of this creature. It's clearly has some link to whatever is going on in Starlock, but I do not feel confident in our ability to track it. Unless Aurelia or Zarius, you might have means of doing so through your magic. I certainly do not. In which case, I think it best for us to go into Starlock Prison to try and better understand what is going on, which may mean encountering the Coergi, who may not be amenable to allowing us the access that we desire.
That's well, hopefully we can do so by covert means as much as possible. That's a hefty fight.
Yes, I think if we can convince Posthumus to allow us some of their uniforms, it may help. It may also help if we could figure out when only one Coergi is going to be stationed. And then that way we reduce the potential for contact. And if we do have to face one, it is better to face one than many. But I believe that this is the righteous path, that we must go into Starlock and face what is there.
I share some concern as well around this prefect. Besides, now seeing the drawing, like the descriptions that the men have seen did not match. So I'm wondering, has this prison done something to it? Is there some longer lasting effect of being in the prison itself, even if you're not a prisoner?
Demons and mind flayers are being kept in that prison. There's no telling what wards may have worn out or been circumvented that would allow them the access they need to corrupt those within positions of power.
A ward could contain the creature, but their malicious intent can seep out.
Yes, it is folly to believe that such creatures can be contained indefinitely. I don't understand why they're being contained. They should have been eliminated immediately.
Yes, they should have.
So we need to cleanse this prison. So the question is, are we in agreement then?
If we can get one of these men to draw a map of this prison, it may be beneficial. At least the areas of the outside where they have been.
He already drew a map.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right. I forgot about that.
We could ask the men to draw like a more updated map, or we could show them the map.
Show them the map. Yeah, it's accurate.
I saw this out of an old encyclopedia. Is the newer ones match?
Hey, I built this. Is this still right?
They didn't tamper with the design, did they?
It's perfect as is.
Is that how you're going to present it to them? That you built this place?
No, I would say I'd present the map as saying this is a map that this is some I guess if we were to present this map to them, I would present it as such as like we visited and we kind of did a quick sketch. I mean, I guess it'd be a pretty hard sell to say, oh yeah, I remember this from memory.
Right. So yeah, they say that your map is still accurate. Like the big building in the front is mostly just a mess hall. So it's also where during downtime a lot of the men gather. There are separate, like there's a stables, although it's currently empty because they didn't bring mounts or anything with them. The horses that had been here when the long spear troops held it all got eaten as they ran out of food. So there are, a couple of quarters that in the guard towers themselves, the guard towers have arrow slits that they say tend to be manned. So although visibility is limited, especially when there happen to be humans or halflings managing the arrow loops, you'll probably be spotted at some point as you approach the walls. And
Aren't the men that would be manning those things? Aren't they here?
There are total 120 soldiers. So there's only 10 here.
Oh.
There's still another 110, not necessarily all in the prison at any one time. Sometimes a lot of them will be asleep. Some of them will be out on patrols within the area right around the keep itself.
I'd like to perhaps just as the guards here are being, questioned in various ways, I would be curious to watch them and see if any of them feel flighty, perhaps. They're uncomfortable with the line of questioning. Maybe they want to go back and report us.
You would get the sense that after hearing, because everybody was in earshot hearing Lucirosi and Posthumus talk, that there's only one guy who's really uncomfortable with what was said about you going in and, as he interprets it, challenging the prefect.
Is he one of the sick ones?
Yes.
I'm going to go up and I don't have any more second levels, but presumably I can just use a third level to cast a lesser restoration on him to cure him, make him feel a little better. Make him see that we're the ones here to help.
Okay, make me a persuasion check with advantage.
Okay. Let's see what happens. I'm mostly imposing.
So he definitely thanks you. You get the sense that he's a little taken aback at the composition of the group. Like he's aware of who Lucirosi is, sort of, kind of, and was probably a little disturbed with you and with Aurelia's appearance. Crick is in his disguise, so he wouldn't really notice Crick much at all.
Does he have like a holy symbol visible? This guy?
You don't see one on him, but he thanks you, and he seems to be genuinely grateful that he's feeling a bit better. So all of the men probably, you get the sense, would react poorly if your plan were, we're going to go in there, you're going to slaughter all of these people and fight our way into the prison. That probably would turn them all off. But you're going to go in there and demand to talk to the prefect. Even this guy's probably okay with that now. He doesn't think your chances are that good.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Every little step to get this guy on our side. We want you to join the revolution. No, wait.
Uncle Zarius.
Let's take a 5-minute break. Hit the restroom. Are you guys going to rest before you go back to the prison?
I'm going to suggest it.
Well, Lushirosi would question when the guards are at their lightest, because it may require us to go late into the evening.
We'll hang out here for a long
Um,
time then.
Because Nimrod did say that there was a point when only one of the Koergi would be present.
Right. Although he said that was like inside the prison tower. Like they basically say they usually see one or two Koergi at a time. Usually those people are stationed right up at the front, unless they're called back in or go back into the prison itself. Those guys at the front tend to rotate, but they seem to spend like a week out amongst the soldiers and then go in for a couple weeks. So he's not even, he knows that there were originally 15 Koegi Vis. A lot of them died just trying to get here. A couple of them died in combat since then. None of them seem to be the ones who got their faces ripped off, but they've never been, out in a general patrol where they could have been easily picked off. So on the outside, he said there's usually one or two. He doesn't know that there's like that much of a schedule for them. Basically, they'll stand there for 10, 12 hours a day. The other 12 hours, there's probably only one of them on duty. But there's, basically about 16 hours out of the day, there'll be just one of them there. The other 8 hours, there'll be two of them there. Inside the prison, he doesn't really know what their schedule is. He doesn't go in there. None of these people have been inside the prison, really.
Right.
Occasionally, you remember that the other guard, the other legionary, said that occasionally legionaries will be called inside the prison to be stationed there, but that's a permanent thing. So the people who've gone in there haven't really made an appearance outside again.
Had you guys seen that whenever you went in there?
Well,
Whenever
we
you
never
walked
went
through?
in. We never went into the prison tower itself. We were always kept manning the walls and the outer battlements.
T-Hole and Lushirosi?
We just saw the Koergi that let us through,
Right.
as I
And
recall.
some that were stationed there that were just guarding the interior of the facility. But you didn't see any normal legionaries.
Fodder. All right. We can take that 5.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
So we're getting a long rest in.
Yep.
That's the number of charges I recharge for my ring of shooting stars.
And when you wake up, you realize your goat is gone, Aurelia.
Oh, well.
The other soldiers are extremely disappointed. The goat was very popular after you explained its curative properties, the nerve calming effects of petting a goat.
That's right.
With my recharged lay on hands, I'm going to cure another 4 of the men from their disease.
Wasn't keeping count.
Oh,
Figuring
oh
out.
yeah, there's only 10 of them in there, right?
Yes.
Cured a number of them.
I mean, with your, because you said your last session that you were going to cure as many as possible. So that's probably with the lesser restorations. That's probably all 10 of them. So some of the men who actually got arrested actually look a bit better. Still somewhat exhausted, but a lot better than they did when you first got here.
Put on my pants. My new pants. I'm very lazy since school ended. Since my class ended and not been working. So, what else am I gonna do?
Who needs pants?
Pants are for suckers.
Even Peter's boss is wandering around the office without pants.
I figured if we're being recorded.
Just don't stand up, you'll be fine.
Why do you think I waited till I sat down?
So, Mike, you got my whisper?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. So what is your plan? Are you going to borrow armor?
Yeah, I would approach Posthumous and I would ask, I know this is a highly unusual request given the nature of what we're trying to do, but could we perhaps borrow the uniforms, some uniforms of your men, so that we could more easily pass into the prison?
We do have some spare suits of armor. That's the uniform. The only spare armor we have is the armor that we stripped off of the zombies that you killed. But I don't. Doesn't bother me if you want to take it. You may want to. We haven't cleaned it super thoroughly.
Well,
Is there any that I will fit?
I would say probably yes. It'll be like a pretty tight fit, given your size.
Do you have any manacles?
No, that they don't have. They're not actually here to take prisoners.
I'm thinking perhaps Zarius be a Chewie. Pull Chewbacca here, going into the cell block.
So all of these, basically these suits of armor are all half plate. So Crick refuses to put on armor, as that would render him essentially powerless, but adjusts his disguised self to look like he's wearing the armor.
That will help with the regulars. Likely will not work on the other weird ones.
What exactly is your plan? I don't know. It may be a little hard to just walk through the gate in the armor. You still look like cat people and a dragon man. There will be at least one of the Koegi Vis there at the main gate, probably at least.
Well, perhaps you might be able to help us. What would you suggest in terms of our approach?
Well, I mean, the humans in your group could probably get through if a couple of us went back. There would be questions. We'd have to talk our way around. But the Koegi Vis don't fraternize with the common soldiers so much that I think they would recognize. But you're pretty distinctive and well known. You and Zarius both. And frankly, I think Aurelia would get noticed just because of her cat-like nature, but you two would definitely get picked out right away.
With this rain, do your men never wear cloaks?
That's true. You could pull up a cloak. I still think you might get challenged. You probably would have to try to avoid anybody seeing anything of Zarius's scales or your fur.
that might be difficult. And by might, I mean it will be very difficult.
I mean, you'd have to be a little sneaky about it.
We could go there's an entrance on the side that has a smaller posting of guards. We could try to make our way through there. Is there not?
There's no entrance through the outer wall other than the main gate. There is a side entrance to the prison.
Hmm.
I mean, I thought your plan was to just go and demand to see the prefect again. In which case, they let you see him before. They might let you see him again.
Not without stripping our powers.
Yes, we do not, just so you know, Posthumous, we are not intending to bring harm to anybody within the prison, but we do need to find a way to get the answers we seek, which means that the methods that we use may not be entirely wholesome.
Where does the cardinal lie?
Bishop?
Yes, the bishop. Your hierarchy is confusing.
Yeah, he, if there's two priests in our unit, both of which will generally be manning a post about 4 to 8 hours a day, depending. I don't know what their schedule is at the moment. Rest of the time, they'll either be resting or tending to the men or creating food or something like that.
I believe him to be a reasonable one.
Well, he is the higher ranking of the two clerics in our group, but both of them are able to miraculously create, and both of them are pretty handy in casting spells. So, plus they're clerics, I would hope you would, avoid harming the clerics. Frankly, we all starve to death if you kill either one of them. We're pretty thin on clerics right now. They're our source of food, and we kind of need both of them to create as much food as possible for the men inside the prison, or else we'd run out of rations pretty quickly.
I have no desire to quicken their death, though I too possess this ability. As does my companion here.
When we cleanse
Capri.
When we cleanse the prison, we'll consider that.
Yes, we
At this point, he is kind of like bumping you towards the door of the guardhouse to get you out.
Yeah. Zarius, perhaps you can.
I should say when you woke up, not all the men were in the guardhouse anymore. It appears as though some of them are manning the inner wall, the second wall.
Oh, did we long rest?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, because I wanted to, before long resting, attempt to call for divine help.
Okay.
Since it recharges at a long rest.
Oh, nice. Unlikely, but worth a try.
Roll your dice.
You never know until you try, so it's a power. Might as well use it. Let's see here. Roll D100. Nah. All right, whatever.
I wanted to see what you were gonna ask for.
Yeah, I was gonna ask for some divine guidance.
See
in our path.
A tank comes barreling through the walls.
Oh, that'll be handy. Yeah. Yes.
So Lucirosi would try to grab one of the cloaks that they have from the dead bodies to use.
They have stores of weapons and some supplies, so you can take a clean cloak.
Okay.
They just didn't bring like full suits of half plate armor with them.
Okay.
Other than what they were wearing.
So I'll wear one of those cloaks. I'll also suggest to my comrades, just to be sure, we should check on the men at the gate before we move forward.
So they've all, at this point, between the two of you, been healed, at least of their disease. So not all of them have gotten a full night's rest in, as some of them had to stay awake. But like 3 of the 4 men manning the wall did get rest. So they seem somewhat less exhausted than the other people. And everyone looks healthy now. They just look a little tired, or a lot tired, depending on the guy.
I'm not going to use my 2 5th levels to cure their exhaustion, so that ain't worth it.
No. Let's save that.
And we get
That
outside.
doesn't sound like the Lucirosi I know.
Yeah, it's all off. He's still got action points, so.
Well, yeah, that's also unusual at this point in the game.
Yep.
When we get outside, I'm going to pick up. Are there any leaves around?
There's some foliage. So the leaves aren't large. It's mostly bushes. You don't see any trees, but you can find some small leaves from these bushes.
Pick up a bush and hide behind it.
I'm gonna take some leaves and funnel them into a cup of mine and pour some and then kind of like shake it around, and then I'm gonna do a natural portents to try to read the signs of these leaves.
Okay, make your wisdom check.
Wisdom check.
So, yep, you determined that the signs are pretty good for today. Exceptionally good, even.
Great. So I dump it out, and then the leaves blow towards the prison. And I walk back, and I'm like, I'm feeling pretty good about this. It seems the signs are with us today.
Right. Whatever. Let's head out.
Can I find a cloak that's like close to my size? I'm sure some of the soldiers about.
There are a variety of, actually they have more supplies here than they need, probably because there were other groups that were here before. But yeah, you can find a cloak that's your size.
Okay. Is it clean? Because I'm not touching anything that's dirty.
Well, the armor is definitely filthy. Like
Yeah,
it's had rotting corpses in the armor.
Yeah, I'm not worried about the armor. I just want the cloak to put on. So I look at least have one of their cloaks that looks like them.
So yeah, you can find a cloak that's in your size.
Okay.
Trying to prepare spells here. One of the spells I'm preparing is I don't have in my thing here yet.
Yeah, I've FYI everybody, I've changed my spells around a little bit. I now have prepared Zone of Truth, Detect Compulsion, and Daylight. Figure those ones are going to be pretty good to have.
Cast that on T-hole, Zone of Truth.
I figure T-hole will find a way to lie even through the truth.
It's true. T-hole's crown lets him automatically succeed on a wisdom save.
And you wouldn't necessarily know whether or not I was telling the truth or not. Because I don't think you can you? I thought it was because we used that once, right? And you couldn't tell like if they.
No, you could tell if they're.
You could tell if they resisted.
Oh, you
Right.
can.
And
what you can't do
force
is
them to. Yeah.
Right.
Can't
You
force
can't
them
force
to
them to give you an answer when you ask them a question, but they are they might, a really talented person might be able to pretend like he's being compelled to tell the truth.
Gotcha.
Not that dwarf. That was not Gruzza the dwarf, though. So is anybody else doing anything special?
Nope.
So as you're stepping outside from the guardhouse, Posthumus follows you out and says, "What if the cloaks are good and all, but you're probably going to be challenged about where you're coming from. Can you disguise yourselves any better than just pulling a cloak down around your faces?" Frankly, only T-Hole and Crick are probably going to be able to talk to anybody directly.
Yes, that's a concern, but I have nothing that would allow me to hide my true nature any better than this. And do you have suggestions, Posthumous?
I'm no actor. I can't craft a disguise for anybody. But you guys are famous, so I thought maybe you would have some way of doing it. I didn't want to suggest around the men that, you use magic. And I don't mean to insult you by suggesting that maybe you should think about magic, but just thought I would throw it out there.
I have not known Zarius or Aurelia to use such magic, and Ashros has not granted me any blessings that would allow for such a task. Am I mistaken, Aurelia and Zarius?
I cannot change my form.
I thought the Corgi V could see through the magic.
That was my understanding.
That may be, I don't know. I know they can see through darkness.
Kepri can do some things, but only for so long.
I could make some of us invisible.
How long would that invisibility last, Aurelia?
Let's see. I think it's an hour.
I'm pretty sure the Corgi Vs can see invisible creatures. We fought an ogre mage and they could see that.
An ogre mage, you say?
Yeah, it was fighting along with a group of regular ogres and a couple of other humanoids. We weren't really able to identify them, but they were small and easy to kill.
I believe you'll find that they're called orgy mages.
Orgy mages only exist in storybooks.
Not where I'm from.
Perhaps the Corgi Vis can see through our invisibility, but the normal men that we would be encountering along the way might not.
Oh, that's true. Invisibility would certainly thwart any of us here.
Would I know if greater invisibility would be better? I mean, obviously it's better, but would it?
Greater invisibility only lasts a minute.
Yeah.
It's shorter duration, but
You would, Peter's still there. You would probably, you're high enough level that I would say you would guess that whatever is allowing them to see would let them see you even with greater invisibility.
Okay. Okay.
Aurelia, would you be capable of shrouding myself, Zarius, and yourself in a cloak of invisibility?
I guess probably with an action point.
you can upcast it, right? With regular invisibility, at least.
Right.
Okay.
Crick, do you possess the ability to shroud others in an image similar to yourself?
No, he responds that he definitely does not have that ability. He can only disguise himself.
Ah,
Yeah, Aurelia, you would need to cast it 4th level, and you can get all 3 of us.
What do I do then? Just stay outside?
Posthumous, were you planning
Sorry,
to accompany us?
I was playing Crick momentarily there.
Oh,
I mean, you come in, right? Your likeness will fool them.
Posthumous. Do you ever have any reason to send people back?
I've thought about that. And yeah, we do sometimes send back a runner to report if we've seen something, but that would usually be one. So I was unsure how to explain why we would send back 6 people at once.
Well,
Or if you pretended to be the runner, why you would have 4 other people with you.
well, or with who am I going to cast invisibility on? Me. Sari. Yeah, us 3, and then Crick and T-Hole could be the runners.
Perhaps
You could
a
just say
messenger?
you're doing it for security reasons because of what's been
And
going on.
Crick whispers, if the guy at the gate can see through my disguise, then he's going to know I'm not human if I talk to him.
Well, we should be fine. T-Hole will do all the talking.
Asheros, help us.
He will.
I have to ask again. Can't you just say I'm the emperor? Let me pass, and then all of you just have to obey you, right?
If only it worked that way.
He said he was loyal to the emperor earlier. I heard him say it.
He's loyal to the emperor not as he was. Which makes all the difference, I suppose.
All right, so Posthumous, if you have no other suggestions, I think it's time that we are on our way.
Well, good luck to all of you then. If you have to use any of your more aggressive methods, please don't tell them that you were here and that we knew this was coming.
No.
I mean, most likely they will torture you, so they'll probably figure it out. You can only hold out for so long, but, do your best.
We will. And once again, we are not going to intend to harm anybody who is human and as they claim to be, unless they are worthy of such judgment. But I do not
Well, but merely
take that
sneaking
lightly.
in disguise is probably, if you get caught, going to be seen as aggressive. So, just saying.
Yes.
If we're caught, we stole these uniforms from the dead bodies that we found.
Yeah, I wasn't so concerned that they would put that together, but I don't want my men to be punished for this. If they punish me, fine. I guess I don't care, but
We will
Anyway.
do our best to protect your men. We do not wish any ill harm upon anybody. We just wish to seek the truth and to cleanse whatever corruption lies within this prison. And so we will do that. And hopefully with the newfound health of your men, you will be able to stave off any further attack that might endure from whatever creature seems to be ripping people's faces off.
well, best of luck to you. Hope I see you again someday.
Same.
It's been an honor to meet you, Lucirosi and Zarius, and whoever the rest of you are. T-Hole, you're very different in the books.
Yeah, I don't
His
know.
bumper
I don't know where they got that. Actually, a lot of the accounts in the books are not as they actually happened. They're
Well, I'll say T-Hole in the books is some sort of evil sorcerer.
Yeah, it's half right still. Lucirosi would put out his hand and say, "It is also an honor serving with leader was so concerned about his men and their welfare.
He shakes your hand. Then he goes back and starts to climb the ladder to get atop the outer wall, or the inner wall, rather. So what is your plan as you approach the prison? How stealthily are you doing this?
We're in chevron formation, of course.
Hopefully invisible. Aurelia, are you going to do that?
Yeah, I'll do. I have to cast it at 4th level.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, once we get a little closer, I think.
Yeah, I'll definitely go the stealth route.
So
Can we-
the three of you will be invisible, and Crick and I will not be. Crick.
Sorry, how tall were the walls? I forgot.
They're about 40 feet tall.
I mean, we could climb the wall.
Yeah, we have my Rod of Lordly Might.
That's a whole other movie.
Yeah, it's in Pornhub.
Yeah.
I would know, of
Other
course.
That is the Rod's porn name.
Yeah.
So yeah, we could do that, and also Nimrod suggested going around the back would be an easy access point.
That was from the inner wall, right?
No, he was saying that you go around the back of the outer wall. See, if you look at the map of the prison,
Oh yeah, we have that, don't we?
There's like the barrack, or there looks like there's like some little entrance back there.
there is a little projection, but that is not actually an entrance. It's just a projection.
Oh, okay.
But he was suggesting there's like a short section of wall in the back that's near the sort of main entrance to the prison, that he said at most there would be like 1 or 2 guards depending on the time of day.
Mm-hmm.
So he was suggesting that if you were going to try to get in over the walls, that would be the place where you could probably do it the easiest.
Mm-hmm.
But he was suggesting the back because it's closest to the prison tower itself. And you don't have to, there's that gate that got jammed when you were walking through the front part of the courtyard. You would have to fight your way first through the main gate and then through that gate that got jammed in order to get to the back area. So he was suggesting rather than try to, bluff your way or fight your way through 2 gates, you just climb over the wall and dash into the prison.
True.
Right.
But we need the XP to get to 11th level. So.
What about, so if I'm looking at this right, this is from the top view, is the side to the left the main entrance?
It's on the bottom of that map.
Okay.
So you can see the road comes in and leads to the main gate.
Is the tower shrouded in darkness?
The tower is shrouded in its own separate set of clouds. It's actually more of like a film that looks like a smoke, but it's not actually smoke. It's just some sort of magical barrier.
So what if what we did was, so we're at the bottom left, right? Where that
Yep.
road curves around. So continuing up north, and then rather than going directly through this gate here, we keep going around to the side and climb that wall on the north side.
You could definitely do that. Nimrod thought the back wall was the one to be the least defended. But you could scale any of the walls. You just have to get up to the wall and deploy the Rod of Lordly Might. And you could easily get to the top of any of the walls.
I mean, it seems easier than actually going through this hall, this entrance that we seem to would have to go through, right? Because there's definitely going to be people in there. There would be fewer people towards that north.
It really comes down to, I mean, if you can bluff your way through that first gate, you might then have to bluff your way through the second gate to then get to the prison tower itself.
I don't trust T-Hole to bluff his way out of a wet paper bag. And definitely not Crick.
Yeah, I wouldn't trust myself to bluff very well either.
So there is the problem of, as Nimrod explained it, when you get up to the walls, he was talking about the back wall, but really any of them, you would probably want to try to subdue the guards as quietly as possible
Yeah.
so that the other guards aren't alerted to the fact that you're trying to break in. But even if they were alerted, you would still be closer to the prison tower if you attacked any of the walls in the back half of the prison.
Is the tower in the middle?
Yes, it's the smoky block in the middle.
Okay.
Perhaps we still use the invisibility and we scale the outer wall, and while invisible, you can at least take the guards on unawares and render them unconscious.
Yeah, I mean, you would know that if you were all invisible, you could probably scale any of the walls pretty easily. You might still make noise. That might alert the guards. But so far as you were able to see, you didn't see any of the Coegi Vis on the walls themselves. So the invisibility presumably would work.
I also have my cape and can appear, so I can find a way. I can appear up there as needed.
So I guess the question is then, do we make our way back out of the prison and go around to the back wall, or do we try to scale the wall either to the south or the north, the inner wall?
Let's just go the back wall. That's what what's his nose told us. Nimrod.
We'll
Ooh,
prepare
silence.
some help, but I can only do it so many times. Yes.
All right, so we're gonna go all the way out and around.
That'd be my suggestion.
Yeah, I think we should try to like sneak our way around.
Mm-hmm.
How so there is torchlight, like I remember there was torchlight like a certain distance away. Like would we be able to stay like outside the torchlight as we go around so that we're not seen?
Yeah, that would not be so hard to do.
Okay.
By the way, Kurt, did you get my private message? I don't know how to send them very well on this, and I didn't want to risk.
I do not see a private message.
Oh, it's in the chat.
Oh. Not really. You know where he said the back door to the prison is.
Okay.
And it would actually be on the south, behind the south wall,
Okay.
behind the gate.
All right. So, shall we then? We'll make our way around to the back wall. Is that the east wall or the south wall?
The south wall is where the main gate is.
Right, but I mean more to the west.
Right. The west wall is where the road leads first. You would approach and have to pass. If you were on the road by the west wall.
No, but okay. So I'm dumb with directions. I meant more east. So east of the guardhouse. Is that the back wall, or is the back wall the one that's completely east?
On the actual screen, the back wall is the one on the far right.
Okay.
The west wall is on the left. So actually, I will switch you over to a portion of the map.
Oh
Perhaps.
boy.
Circling around the north.
You are not, even though where I have you is kind of at the edge of the map, and so oh, I see.
I'll probably put the torch in my bag so that's not lit up. Don't need to draw attention to us.
So right now you are not visible to the. You could see two guys patrolling the wall in front of you. This is the east wall, and it's the wall that Nimrod said you should consider scaling. And now that you're here, you can definitely see there is a doorway off to essentially at the bottom side of the platform they're standing on.
Here.
Yep.
And what's this down here that's jutting out?
That appears to be, it is like a little room that is jutting out from the lower level, but there doesn't seem to be an entrance.
No windows or anything then?
Right.
Man, a portable hole would be super handy. Like a portable door.
Sarius, can you perhaps send Kepri beyond the wall to see what else lies that we can't see?
I can send her up to the top. The guards that are up there, they just look like normal people. They don't look like the.
It's a human and a dwarf.
But no Coergi.
No, they don't appear to be. They just appear to be regular archers.
Okay. Then yeah, I will have Kefri go up a little bit, try and get better sight.
So from all he sees are these two on the wall.
Mhm.
He doesn't see any Coergi Vs. The door to the barracks is closed, so he's not sure who's might be in there. He doesn't see anybody in the courtyard beyond, at least not until you get closer to the gate that got jammed. So over like in this area, he does see that there are two more guards that he can see over on one of the far walls, flying around. There are many guards on the south wall.
I'll be watching through his eyes for as much as I can. I don't want him to, I don't want her to go too far and get caught. So, like if she can go to like here, maybe.
Yeah, I
probably can't see further than that. So,
right. I was assuming she flew around quite a bit and was reporting back.
oh, okay.
But she sees like 6 or 7 guards on the south wall. Only 2 on the north wall, but several are also around the gate.
Okay. So a lot of guards from her perspective here.
Right.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
But
6,
she
7,
doesn't
8.
she doesn't actually see any of the psionic guards.
Right. Okay. I'm assuming these ones over here I can't actually see through the darkness of this area.
Right. Right. Even she has to fly around to see everyone.
Okay. All right. So lots of guards then. So yeah, I'll just have her come back. There are an abundance of guards, but none of the pure vision ones.
Yes, we probably won't encounter them until we're actually in the tower. So, how do we, based on what you and Kepri have seen, what would be the best way to approach? Shall we go with our method of invisibility?
This region here, it does seem to be the less populated. This part of the wall, though I do not know what's in this building. Of course, there's little holes there, right? Like little windows. That she
Yeah,
could look
those are arrow slits.
look through them.
When she flies up to one, she does see there is an archer stationed there.
Okay. Yeah.
She doesn't actually see an archer there at this point.
Okay.
I mean, she is small enough. She does see someone there.
Okay.
She is small enough that she could probably fly through the arrow slit if she wanted to.
Nah, I don't want that. Just want to get a glance.
I think the
There is
invisibility,
another person there.
Yeah.
I think invisibility is probably our best bet.
Yes, but then do we try to make all of us invisible? Or do we leave T-Hole and Crick visible and have them try to negotiate their way past the guards?
And there's another person through the arrow slit there.
Yeah.
Well, if you're able to make it to the top and we're able to incapacitate the guards, then I don't see why we wouldn't just climb up the wall.
They can see from the arrow slits in the wall.
I think it is too early to try and incapacitate guards. I think we need to try and get past them without alerting anybody.
Doesn't see anybody through that one.
Okay. Then just quickly.
She does see somebody there.
Far side there, it looks like. Oh yeah, and there's one right there. I see it. And someone there. And then the other side. All right. All right. The tower to the north has someone at every window. But the tower to the south looks to have a room through that door that does not appear to have anyone directly inside of it. It is a tricky situation. So there was a door like right here-ish?
There's the door right here.
Oh, that one. Got it. Yeah. Up on the wall. Got it.
Yep. But there's no door here, so there's no way into that tower from this walkway.
Right. All right.
We could create a distraction and let T-Hole use his cloak to get up to the door.
Do you have a distraction in mind?
Well, yeah, I have my bag. I could pull out one of my creatures.
Get up to which door?
The one that's on the walkway.
I mean, if I got to that door, maybe I missed something, but what good would it be? There's nothing. There's nobody in there, so I could get in, but it doesn't let anybody else up.
We don't know if it goes down to the other. Isn't there a door at the base?
There's no door on the wall that leads to the outside where you
Okay.
are.
Right. Okay.
So he isn't able to get
so-
invisible.
Yeah,
Rick,
just to be clear, there is an entrance to the prison that's right there, and then apparently there's an entrance to the prison there behind the tree, which you can't see. But yeah, the south end of the prison, and there is apparently a second door in that is obscured and hard to see.
presumably that's the one you guys. I mean, I don't know. I guess which door you
This
guys
is-
went in.
You went through this door, which is sort of obvious because there's a path that leads up to it and a light right next to the spot.
Okay.
So Lucirosi would say, I have perhaps a trick that I can use. I haven't practiced it very well, but this ring that I have, I can summon some lights from it to dance around, but don't want the distraction to create greater alarm, and I don't know if it would. I can send the lights around. Perhaps it creates the guards' attention, but I don't know how they'll react.
I don't know if it's a good idea, since this is a prison that houses magical enemies with magic capabilities. The guards might be aware, at least more aware of such tricks and their nature.
It may be best if those of us who can go invisible approach, get to the
Yeah.
bottom of the wall where we are less likely to be seen. Stick near the wall, and then I will attempt to silence the area.
Yes,
So I
but
mean, one thing just to note, because your characters will be more aware of it than you are, it is so dark outside that even like the dwarf is mostly probably relying on his dark vision. There are some torches along the outside of the wall that are providing some light in the area you're in, so that they can see a little better what they're aiming at if anything attacks. But there's still a limit to the amount of light. So Lucirosi could probably pretty easily fly up and over all of these people in the minute he has his wings, if you wanted to do that, and land inside the courtyard. It's only when you start getting close to the courtyard that there's a lot of light in that courtyard itself that might make it easier to see you.
the problem being that my wings themselves create light, so I would have to be invisible in order to do that very well.
Okay.
Does invoking your wings, is that an action?
It's a bonus action.
Just making sure, like, even doing it won't break your invisibility. But if you do it and then
not
get turned
casting a
invisible,
spell.
I guess.
It's not casting a spell, though.
Yeah, certain actions will just do it, though, so I wasn't sure.
I would rule, because it was my assumption that just summoning your wings would not actually break invisibility.
So Lucirosi would suggest that then, but he would also be cautious about Zarius deploying the silence, and he would note that with the rain all about, the sudden ceasing of the sound of the rain splashing might be just as loud as somebody approaching.
If you cast silence on an area where these guards are, they probably will notice that the soundscape has changed around them.
Yeah, that I know. I'm mainly was going to aim sort of off the path a little bit, more in the air, but like against the wall where the ladder would latch. So I figured that's probably going to be the loudest thing. One of the loudest things, besides us. Us people in fucking heavy ass armor.
So if Lucirosi is invisible and the others are not, Lucirosi could potentially fly everybody over the wall unseen.
Until when you landed, that would be the hard part, because then you would come into the lights in the courtyard. So if they were all visible, it'd be sort of obvious that they were flying in to anybody who was looking.
Mm-hmm.
And there are at least a couple people who are stationed at our slits of face inside from what Kepri saw.
So then, Aurelia, is it within your capacity to make all of us invisible?
I'm sure it is. With the right amount of resources.
It would take a 5th level spell slot to do like 4 of you. So, I mean, if you wanted to spend an action point, I would certainly give you a 5th person. I mean, I would say this: if you want to spend an action point, I would let you get all of you with just a 2nd level spell slot.
That's a pretty good deal.
Since I would otherwise trade an action point for up to a 5th level spell slot without really being concerned by it. So yeah, I would let you spend a 2nd level spell slot and an action point to get all of you. Kepri can turn invisible on her own, so she doesn't need it, but the rest of you.
Okay.
So I guess before we start, I think I will touch Lucirosi and say that, we'll not have you so easily, and cast Death Ward.
Does Lucirosi know any sensation or see, like, does this have any visual effect?
It might get a little chilly.
So Lucirosi would shiver and say, it was exhilarating.
As a wave of necrotic energy just washes over him.
I mean, it is. It's raining down on us right now.
I go over to T-Hole and say, "Lead the way, Emperor," and I inspire him.
All right.
All right, I'm gonna give myself some little icon.
He puffs up his
Death
chest
Ward.
and he's feeling more cocky than usual.
This will work out real well. Are you at that level yet where you could just run up walls?
Yeah. I am.
Yeah, you don't need your fucking cloak. Give it to somebody else. Just run up a wall and jump off the other end. You're fine.
Then go let somebody attune to it.
This mission is for you. Nobody will catch you.
Yeah, if I run up the wall, then unless we're gonna incapacitate the guards, like they're gonna see me like as I just like run up the wall in front of them.
Yeah, I know, it's fine.
So, but yeah, otherwise it'd be whatever.
Just start taking a couple, like just take 2 levels of Warlock. Get yourself that invocation that lets you see through darkness. And the darkness spell. And you just run around everywhere. Respec your monk into the shadow monk.
I thought about it. It didn't seem right.
No, yeah.
But
Just T-Hole changed his mind. You know what? Fuck it.
you know what? Maybe I will be an assassin.
There was that one time.
I'm sure one of his past lives probably was an assassin. I would be shocked if it wasn't.
So what is the plan? There have been many.
Yeah.
I think Aurelia is going to turn us invisible, and Lucharos is going to fly everybody over.
Yep.
We're gonna have enough time for that. You 1 minute. We're not gonna
Yeah,
hear
if we
wing
move
beats.
quick. Oh no, my wings are ineffable.
Okay.
As
Is that in the description?
it's in my description.
Sure. So set us down. There's a tree right on the other side. Let's go there. Sit underneath it. We must be careful. There are guards looking on the inside.
Let's do it.
My computer is not responding to anything right now. I don't understand what's happening.
So you're all turning invisible, and Luciorosi's going to fly you inside.
Yep, I use 1 action point, a second level invisibility.
So I'm going to just let you all do that and not worry about like the stupid things like how does Luciorosi find the people to pick up when they're all invisible?
Thank you.
Luciorosi doesn't know where anybody is. Only the first person he picked up.
Knock on a
So-
tree. You knock on the tree above us whenever you're there, and one of us will knock. It's fine. We got it. We figured it out. Echolocation.
Why is my computer freezing like that? This sucks.
It's
I
probably
can't
the
do
second
anything.
monitor.
Yeah, maybe if I just turn it off and turn it on.
Not the monitor.
Oh,
It's not
wait.
gonna do anything.
Oh.
Is it the whole computer, or
No, it's just certain
is it
windows.
like in Roll20? Because there's a lot happening on Roll20. It's, a
Like
lot of
Zoom, I can click on anything on Zoom, but everything else is dead.
Zoom is taken over.
They just activated the rootkit. Don't worry. Everything is safe.
Yeah. Just send 1,700 Bitcoin and they will unfreeze everything else.
Zoom has become Skynet. They were just waiting for the right opportunity. This virus has made everybody use it. Now they've taken over.
Sounds like Skynet.
Sure. See if that does that. All right, so now we're invisible. So we're just gonna.
Make it easier.
Luciorosi has the skull and crossbones on him.
Yeah, that's my death ward.
Okay, got it. Oh,
So
actually,
now,
now that I think about it, it came to me late, I guess. But like, there was like a little shiver, and you probably heard like a howl of like a jackal somewhere off in the distance. A little ominous, but that's how I work.
I don't know what's going on with my computer.
I think so. So T-Hole would whisper, I think we should head to the south gate. To the south entrance.
Why the south entrance?
Because it's smallest and least guarded. While we're still invisible.
But we know what it's like going through the other entrance. We know what to expect.
True.
Kefri, quickly and quietly go to the other side, examine the door. Just make sure there's like nothing crazy going on.
She'd already flown around there. That is closest to the wall that has 7 legionaries on it. But otherwise, there's also a stairwell leading up to an interior wall. But otherwise, there's nothing really around there.
And the door is what, here?
Yes. Behind there's another tree down there. It's behind the tree.
And this darkness here, what's that like exactly? I've only ever seen it from the outside, so.
Right. But what were you asking?
This weird cloud darkness shit in here.
Mm-hmm.
What's it look like exactly from up close?
It looks almost like a stationary bit of smoke. There's a little bit of movement at its edges, but it's almost like it's oddly cubical or a rectangular prism, but it does look like slow motion smoke.
Okay. And then do we ever discern anything through it? Like, how do we know there's doors here? Is the door visible? And that's the only thing.
There is the only thing you can actually. Well, I was assuming you were relying on Nimrod, but there is a little bit of a footpath that leads behind the tree. That leads right into the smoke, which is sort of similar to the footpath that leads right into the smoke here.
Okay. Yeah. So, like, I myself, as Zarius, standing here looking at it.
Yeah, you don't actually see a door.
It just goes into the okay.
Right.
And this is like a lamp.
That is actually a post with a lamp on it, a lantern.
Okay. I will point out then to folks that this little hole, there was a person stationed at it. So it's probably the main one that we have to deal with. I think, right?
Yeah, there's a person here that you saw. You didn't see anybody here, but you couldn't see the whole room, but there's nobody right behind the arrow slit.
Right. And then, like, there was these. Right, there's nothing here. Okay.
So now that you're inside, you can see that this is a stairwell that leads up to another drawbridge that seems to lead inside the tower. That there. But it looks like they could lift this drawbridge and seal themselves in the tower. So, So it might not be so easy to get back up to this wall that you flew over when you come out again.
All right, so which way should we go? We shouldn't delay too long.
15 minutes of their invisibility later, they pick a door.
But then you show the second door. Which one do you choose? The Monty Hall.
Monty Hall, yeah.
Just to remind you, when you went in, if you go through this main door again, you do know there are a series of defensive gates, and there were some of the Coegi Vis on the far side of those gates. So there are multiple gates you might have to figure a way through. That said, you don't necessarily know if there are gates if you took the other door.
Okay, well, given that, Lushrosi would begrudgingly agree to T-Hole's assessment then. It may be less defended. Might be more defended, but
More defended out here.
Yeah.
But everyone should be looking the other direction.
all right. So
As we
let's
do
go.
not draw attention to ourselves.
Yeah. So we will invisibly trot our way through the grass, bumping into each other because none of us can see where each other's at.
Hang on. Perhaps stick near the darkness of the building, this shaft.
So yeah, you make your way down and around the path and up to the little side path that clearly it's not used as often as there is still some grass growing there, but it leads right up to this wall of smoke. And making your whole way there, nobody seems to see you. The guards on top of the guards on top of the wall are sufficiently high up. They're themselves, even their feet are about 30 feet above the ground. So you're sufficiently far away that even walking on the grass, they don't hear you as you move.
They do appear to be like moving and stuff though, right?
Yeah, they appear to be soldiers.
Make sure
And as Zarius predicted, they're mostly looking out.
Kurt, can you move Lucirosi? I'm having some trouble still.
Yeah, I
exit
moved
out
you
of roll
to the
20.
south. So actually, it being past 1 my time and my non-paying employers making me do work this weekend, I probably need to end it here.
them bastards.
But you do manage, you cross through the threshold of the smoke. Again, it seems as if you almost expect it to be like a cloud that there'd be some thickness to, but in fact, almost the moment you step into it, you seem to be on the other side. You're in a small room. There's not even, the door itself doesn't even seem to be locked because nobody's using this pathway that often. So you're in a small room. There's a torch on the wall. There's what seems to be remains of a stack of hay. There's a solid door in front of you that appears to be oak bound with steel, and it is closed. It has a rather impressive lock on it. But that's where we'll end it. You are inside the lower level of the prison. This is a room that none of you have seen before, though, so you probably will have to get your bearings a little bit to figure out where you are in relation to the path you took last time.
Not a problem.
I thought you were going to fight all these guys.
Oh wow.
Maybe on the way out. When you
Yeah.
Don't give up hope
Yeah.
yet.
So wait, so there's a really impressive lock before us?
There's a large oak and iron bound door with a lock. But it's on the inside of this room. The room itself, you're not sure what it was. Maybe it was a storeroom. There were straw all over the floor last time, so the remains of the straw aren't that unusual. It's fairly dingy, but all of the rooms you saw were fairly dingy. There is a torch burning on the wall, though, which means somebody's been in here to replace torches because they only last an hour.
Okay.
Nice.
All right.
So 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, rather than go late, I probably would be able to start like an hour earlier if we want. So 7:30 Central rather than 8:30.
That would work for me.
I think that's probably fine.
Also worked for me.
Okay.
Is that a yes, Peter?
Yeah, I can do that.
Or
I
like,
just,
eh.
I mean, it's 2 weeks from now, so anything could change. But I
Right.
would assume right now, yes.
Right. I'm in the same boat. Who knows what will be happening in 2 weeks, but
Hopefully not more surprise work.
I hope not.
All right.
Well, thanks. See you guys soon.